So when I was in my physics class learning about the gravitational force, I remember that I was staring at this equation on the board. So I understood most of the variable in it, but there's something keep bothering me. The mass. So what's so special about it? So the origin of the force is just a type of energy, or the radius we can easily measure it by a ruler. However, the mass. What is the origin of it, and what actually caused the mass? No one explained to me, and that question stayed in my mind for days by days by day. And later, I found a book that deeply inspired me. It's Elusive: How Peter Higgs Solved the Mystery of Mass by Frank Close. And I found that I was not alone asking this question. So by the mid of the 20th century, physicists has developed a standard model, a model that describes most of the fundamental particles in physics, and that model works beautifully. But there's a problem. According to the math in the Gauss symmetry, which is a part of the standard model, if we add the mass term directly, many fundamental particles should have no mass at all. But it's really obvious that the chair you're sitting in or the ground you're standing on is obviously have the mass, and this creates a contradiction between the reality and the theory. So how can we solve this problem? So in the 1960s, Peter Higgs proposed a pole solution. So he suggests that the empty space is not actually empty. It's filled with a field that exists everywhere, and that's what we call the Higgs field, and particles are constantly moving through this field. And to imagine how it works, thinking about when you are walking through a room, you move freely and quickly, but when you're walking through mud, there's something that resists your motion, and that's also how the Higgs field works. Just like see the quark, it have more interaction with the Higgs field and it will have more mass. However, the photon, which have no interaction with the Higgs field, then it's will be a massless particle. And in that way, we can, in other words, we can say that the mass is not something a particle born with. It's something that they gain through the interaction with the Higgs field, and therefore the mass term of the particle can be added to the Gauss symmetry indirectly, which solve the problem and also explain what is the origin of mass. But in science, a theory is not enough. It must be tested. So therefore, we need to detect a ripple on it, and scientists under certain labs have built one of the most powerful machines ever of the humanity, the Large Hadron Collider. This 27 particle accelerator will work to test this experiment. So how does it work? So everyone know that the photon have the charge, and everything have the charge will be affected by the electromagnetic field. And in that way, scientists are using the superconducting electromagnet to accelerate a photon, and also the photon to have the mass, so it can be accelerated without any energy loss. And in that accelerator, scientists accelerate the photon until it reaches the speed of light, and hitting two photons at the speed of 300,000 kilometers per second. And by concentrating a large amount of energy into a tiny collision, we can create the Higgs boson and many more heavy particles, but we cannot see it directly. Instead, a massive detector will detect and calculating the momentum, the energy, and scientists will recreate what was happening in the collision. It's like solving a cosmic puzzle. And luckily in the 2012, after analyzing millions and millions of collisions, they finally found the Higgs boson, which is clear evidence that the Higgs theory exists. However, this is far beyond the laboratories. The ground you're standing on, the chair sitting in, is there because of the Higgs field. And to me, what began as a curiosity about a very simple in the classroom is becoming one of the deepest truths of the universe. Is really interesting, and it taught me that curiosity is one of the main things when you are doing everything from science, math to physics, and that is why it's worth exploring. Thank you for your attention.